G'day everyone, welcome to the Opal Mills, and today we're going to do a mining trip and I'll show you a little bit of what I got up to on this weekend. A bit of a short trip, there wasn't much to it, but we'll come back and have a look at what we got out of there and what else I picked up. And we're going to have a look at the wheel that I used to cut on just after, at the end of this video. I'll get to that after as well, but we'll start with the Andamooka trip. Okay, so from what I can understand, the way the ground's broken away, and yeah, there's no way these crystals had remained there with the surrounding dirt come around out from under it. So these are freshly grown crystals. Just to give you a scale of what we're looking at here. Very fine little needle crystals. So cool. Actually regrowing, reforming with the moisture in this claim. Wow, a little forest of them. Yeah, anyway. that's one hole I've just come out. This is the nice new pathway down. Got the Kanga over there, and yonder. And this is the beautiful sunset we're about to enjoy for a minute. Oh. Hi, Mr. Watkey. Alright, so yeah, wasn't too much going on, quite a few kangaroos. This is what I pulled out of the wall at one point in that video, and it didn't turn into what I'd hoped. I'll have a quick look. It sort of hinted it might have some colour in it, which it sort of does, but didn't really show much potential of being actual cuttable material. I'm not sure if some of it's kind of a bit matrixy. So I shine the light in there and it sort of glows up a bit, but it can still be a matrix and do that. A bit of a colour bar up the top there, but whether that survives to the point I can actually cut a stone, I don't really hold high hopes. This is why I think it's a matrix. You sort of see that texture on the surface. It's a little bit rough for a clean break. It's a bit textured. It's not smooth like a glass break, where it's broken but it's got smooth break to it. So you can see these tiny little, almost pit marks, if you will. That's the porosity. So I'm thinking it's a matrix. Either which way, I don't think there's much chop to them. But good thing I caught up with Joe and Angel and Lindy, Misfits, Opal Hunters, Outback Opal Hunters show, and he's zoom back out a bit. I was asked to cut and treat some opal, and I was also gifted by Joe, thank you Joe, some black potch for making doublets. So some jet black potch there, and that's going to go a treat with some of the doublet material I've got. But this bag here, we have a bit of matrix in. Some of what Angel's found. There's a bit of colour to some of it. Whether all of it will turn into stones or not, we'll have to see, and you can't really tell the colour till it's treated sometimes. I'll show you what I mean. For all intensive purposes, you can't really see any colour in there, but if I come up close, you can see a bit of a weak bar in there. That could get brighter as we go past this surface here. There's a little bit of green yellowness to it, so if we can reveal a face at all, give it a treat, it may actually show a bit stronger. This one's got a nice bar up the top, another one down here. Again, we'll have to see what the stone allows us to do, whether it cleans up to a cuttable stage or not. But there is some nice material in this lot we'll get to. There we go. That's got some pretty colour. Once this treats up, it should start popping. Red bar in there. Multicolour bar underneath. We'll play around, see what you can get. And here's the big king stone of the lot. It's a nice chunk in here. Some really nice colour if we can get it treated, and possibly multiple stones. Well, possibly. There's multiple stones to be had. Yeah. It's over a centimetre thick. How far that goes through here looks to be pretty thick back here, so there should be a fair bit of material in there to play with. But this also has a bit of colour down here. Got a bit of water on it. It's actually kind of pretty. It's very silicified, siliceous, full of silica. So we might even see what we can do about getting some, I suppose you call it, rainbow matrix type stone out of it. A couple of bits of crystalline amongst it. And yeah, we'll get to that. And here's one I'll tidy up, probably a bit better. I think this is just a practice. Let's see what this material does. And that's, I think, out of the... I'm not sure if it's the same material or not. But yeah, we'll tidy that one up as well. That's a huge stone. It's got a bit of a dead spot in the centre here though. Barely lights up at all. Right where that is there. So we may have to look at the bars, if there's bars to be cut. And they sort of run that way through the stone on a diagonal. So there's that colour bar down there. That might be worth chasing by taking the top off of here. You can sort of see that really dark there, lighter colour layer, slightly darker colour layer at the bottom. And that's the barring through it, if you will. You see there, 1, 2, 3 bars. Well, I hope you can. So yeah, I think just chasing one of the bars down here might just do this stone some really nice justice. Just taking this end down a bit, just down a little bit further. Oh, it's almost there. Just this end needs to come down a bit. Get some more of this sort of colour down here coming through. Anyway, that's going to be some fun for another video, and also got a pile of other stuff to cut and set. So we've got lots coming up this week if this weather can stop being so cold. Kind of a stark contrast to life up at Andamooka. It's a little bit at least sunnier up there. Not sure the weather today, but anyway, we got nothing but rain here. So this is the wheel, the Watki wheel, and I always say, yep, heading over to the wheel or over to the wheel, and you usually just see that sort of a shot, and we don't really discuss the wheel as such all that much. So nonetheless, this is one of the first that was made, and a lot has changed since the making of this one. For instance, there's an aluminium shroud that goes over the back of the belt at the back from the motor. The newer ones, the motor has actually been brought in alignment with the shroud, so there's no gap down here anymore. I'll get to another upgrade shortly, but for now, just a few things for this machine. Thought I'd take the opportunity to just go through a few key points with this machine. And I should have done this probably a while ago. I sort of have a bit touched on it, but I haven't bragged about it and gone on about it and tried to sell it to everyone. As much as this is available, and it's available internationally shipping can be calculated upon request, and we'll get to that after. But I've asked Mr. Watke not to respond to certain negativity that is being directed at the wheel in the most petty of ways. And I'm referring to the misinformation put out by someone who thinks there's some kind of competition or rivalry on the vertical flat lap market. So here's how it's going to go. I will just speak facts and only in reference to the Watke wheel. This is not for comparison's sake at all. I'm not going there. That's not happening. Anyway, a few key points about this. It does have an aluminium faceplate. It has a stainless steel shaft. It has a 400mm marine ply base. Stained in certain models, but either way it's got a polyurethane coat just to give it a bit of shine. The shroud is a laser steel folded shroud. It's got a deep tray. All of them are powder coated. They are powder coated. Obviously electric motor, comes with a 240 grit faceplate. There's also the 150 grit faceplate. Also, we have available 6, 12 and 3000 grit hard faceplates, if that's what you're after. And soft resin magnetic discs. So these are 280, 600, 1200 and 3000 grit. And it also comes with a leather pad that can go on there, cerium oxide, wax, drop sticks and alcohol burner kit in the black potch versions. I'm not sure what's happening with the other versions and what they come with, but I'll direct you all to watkewheels@gmail.com for any queries on the machine. Anyone directing them towards me, I will just redirect you to that email. A website is coming, but best answered questions will come from that email. I've got second-hand information most of the time. So anyway, that's just a few things about this machine. I might just give you a quick sneak peek on a new attachment that will be upcoming with a variable speed. So if you can guess what it is or not, either way, it's a few weeks off from being able to be released as such, as a finished product, but it is coming, and it's a new upgrade attachment function added to this machine. So there we go. Hopefully that clears up a few questions that people may have, or misconceptions that others may have about the wheel. And anyway, time to get on with these videos. So I'll end this one here, and I'll go and get a smorgasbord of jobs that we've got going, and we'll figure out what we're going to do next. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers.